for land, housing, and physical planning.
Yes, Chair.
Welcome. Maybe before you take your seat, we can prove your identity that we are speaking to one Brian Langat. Thank you very much, honorable members. I can confirm that this is one Brian Cheruiyot Langat. Clerk, maybe you administer oath. Oh, we have not prayed. Oh, you know, clerk, we left here today, this morning. So, sorry. So, clerk, maybe you can pray for us.
Okay, thank you. We pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor and blessings. As your servants whom you have been pleased to call to your leadership positions in this republic, we seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner, as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our church. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, clerk. Now, administer the oath to Brian.
I, Brian Cheruiyot Langat, do swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Thank you so much. You can now take your seat as you also circulate your academic credentials and any other related document. Brian, feel free. You are welcome to this session. Before you is the appointment committee, and we are going to vet you to enable the committee to make a decision whether you are suitable for the position that you have been nominated by the governor. Of course, this vetting committee is legally constituted under the Constitution of Kenya, County Government Act, the Public Appointments, County Assembly Act of 2017, and also as per our Kericho standing orders. The rule of engagement, of course, will be, we expect to be with you here for a maximum of 1 hour. So I will request you to be brief and concise during our engagements. Feel free, should you need a glass of water or tea for that matter. Our clerks are available to provide that. All questions or any form of engagement should be addressed through the chair. And that chair is myself here. And I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Dr. Patrick Mutai, the chairman for Committee on Appointment. Of course, this committee, one of the mandates is to vet the CECs or CECMs as per Article 179(2) of the Constitution of 2010. So with me are the honorable members who are part of this committee. Honorable members, as you introduce yourself, I want to request you, before us is one nominee, Brian Cheruiyot Langat. You introduce yourself as you declare any interest, if any, this nominee. And we start from our far left, the Honorable Cheruiyot Bates.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Brian, congratulations for making it this far.
Thank you.
My name is Bet Cheruiyot. I represent the great people of Ainamoi in Ainamoi sub-county. Chairman, do you want us to declare interest?
Yes. Yeah, as you introduce yourself,
Okay,
please.
so thank you, Chair. I've known Brian. You know, Brian, we worked together in this county assembly, in the first county assembly, the second county assembly, and partly this third county assembly. But I want to confirm, Chair, that my presence in this committee will not interfere with the decisions of this committee. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. My name is David Maritim, MCA Chiefs Onward. Brian, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. What a bright morning. My name is Paul Chirchis Tarimbo. I am the MCA for Kapsoit Ward, Ainamoi Sub-County, Kericho County, and a member of Committee on Appointments. Chairman, the nominee before this committee, one Cheruiyot Langat, is a voter in my ward. So, and Brian has been working with us for the past 5 years. So all that will not affect the decisions or how we will carry our mandate in this Committee on Appointments. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Kiprotich Ragony, MCA Cheruiyot Ward, Cheruiyot Soin Sub-County. Karibu, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And congratulations to Cheruiyot Langat. My name is Honorable Vincent Korir. I represent the people of Londiani Ward, and I would like to declare interest. I've worked with Brian recently at a selection committee, but this one will not influence the outcome of this exercise. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Anita.
Thank you. My name is Aranita Mibei, representing the people of Chemo South Ward from Bureti Sub-County. Wish you well, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm Anthony Ruto, MCA Kipkelian Ward, Kipkelian West constituency. Brian, congratulations.
Thank you.
For coming this far. I also want to declare my interest. I have worked and I have known Brian for the last 5 years. And that relationship will not affect my decision as a panelist. Thank you.
Chair, good morning. Good morning. Brian, karibu.
Thank you.
I'm Dominic Mutai, MCA Kabianga Ward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Secretariat, please introduce yourselves to the nominee.
Good morning. My name is Sharon Ibe, Deputy Legislative Services.
My name is David Thiongo, Clerk Assistant.
Good morning. My name is Kipuri Bernard, Research Officer.
My name is Patrick Korir, Research.
Good morning. My name is Benson Ragony, and that reporter.
Good morning. My name is Koros Cheruiyot, Director Human Resource.
Roy Gilbert, Sajanatal.
My name is Abraham Langat, Deputy Clerk Administration.
Thank you very much for that round of introduction. Brian, let me also take this opportunity to congratulate you for being nominated as the CC for Land, Housing and Physical Planning.
Thank you.
Of course, it is a fact that you are working for this county assembly from, I think, 2014. And it also happens that myself as the chair, I'm still the speaker of this county assembly, and therefore you are part of our staff at the moment. I want to assure you and even the members of the public who are watching us, because we are live, that this is a vetting process, and you are just a nominee like other nominees. So we shall be engaging, and I want us to immediately maybe start by you introduce ourselves. Tell us who is Brian Cheruiyot Langat. Is he a family man? If you don't mind, you can tell us your sex, because it is part of this assessment form that we have here. Don't feel offended, because it is, I've just seen something like that. So, but I recommend that you introduce yourself comprehensively, from work experience, family, where you come from. Tell us even if you your employment records, the honors and awards, if any, professional associations, if you are a member, you can list them. Talk also about charity organizations, the pro bono. We also expect you, if you can tell us whether you are affiliated to any political party, or you participated in any, you have participated in campaigns, and tell us about your educational background, and of course you can relate it to the docket that you have been nominated, as well as also if you have any published writings, you can tell the committee, and anything else that you feel that you should let us know. You feel free, engage with us, and when you are comfortable, you can start the introduction. Brian.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much.
I am Brian Cheruiyot Langat. Mistake me not for an old man because of my gray hair. I'm a youth, 34 years of age, born in 1988, 6th of April, Cheruiyot County. I'm from Kapsoit, a village known as Ngecherog, Telanet location. I went to school, primary school in Mlimani, grammar school from 94 to 2002. Then I joined Kapsabet Boys High School in 2003 to 2006. Went to Moi University School of Law from 2007 to 2011. That's the year I graduated. Then 2012 joined my advocates training program at the Kenya School of Law in Karen, Nairobi. Later, I did my pupillage with Kali and Company Advocates in Eldoret, and later joined the Legal Aid Center of Eldoret, and that's where my pro bono services would begin. We used to provide pro bono legal services to the vulnerable in the society. Later, I joined Kericho County government as a researcher in the British case that we had during that time. That is from 2013 to 2014. In 2014, 1st October, I was privileged to join this institution as a legal officer one, where I have, during that time, I interacted with the Committee of Lands, and we used to provide legal advice to many other committees apart from the Committees of Lands. Chair, it is important to note that while I was at law school, we interacted with units that appertain this docket. We did units such as Conveyancing 1, Conveyancing 2, where we interacted with land laws such as the Government Lands Act. We interacted with the Registration of Lands Act of 1963. We interacted with the ITPA, that is the Indian Transfer of Property Act of 1882. And later, when this new constitution came to place, we interacted with the Lands Act of 2012, Land Registration Act of 2012, and Community Lands Act of 2016. Chair, I have worked with this family since 2014. That is 8 years. 8 years of experience in matters lands, housing, and physical planning. And if given a chance, Chair, I would break down this department into four. That is lands, housing, physical planning, and introduce a different aspect called urban planning that was brought about by the Urban Areas and Cities Act of 2011. But that notwithstanding, Chair, I would like first to say that I'm married with 2 children. I'm male, and I've never been charged in a court of law. About My publications, I went to Kenyatta University for my master's degree back in 2017, and I did a publication, which I have the certificate here, Strategic Business and Change Journal of Management. That is the certificate of publication that I wish to present to this committee. And the article itself that I published, I wish to present to this committee. About my political affiliations, I think, as we know, this year I vied for the position of Speaker of the County Assembly of Kericho, but was barred by the courts because there was a previous court case that barred public officers from vying for the same position. But later, when you were having the elections in this house, we got a stay order. And it was way too late. I could not contest further. And I wish to take this time to congratulate you, sir, for your win in that election. About conflict of interest, I would like to declare that my father is the chairman of the Kericho Municipal Board, and that given this chance to be the CEC of Lands, Housing and Physical Planning, I would take it upon me to discuss it with the governor so that we see on ways on which we can resolve this conflict, if any arises, that is. On the issue of net worth, they say count your blessings, name them one by one. And I would like to say that, Chair, I've been blessed by the Lord, and I think I'm worth approximately 15 million. That is in movable and immovable assets that I own. Any other issue that I haven't touched on?
Thank you very much, Brian. First of all, I'm humbled by your congratulatory message. Thank you so much. And I can say that you are my worthy competitor. Nevertheless, as you put it, just the way God has blessed you with the movable and the immovable assets, God also has a plan for each and every one of us. And I believe there must have been a reason why that happened. You have actually made our work easier from your introduction. Maybe the only thing that you have not mentioned is having been in this assembly for the last, I think, 8 years, whether you have been adversely mentioned in any investigatory reports of Parliament, County Assembly, or any other commission. I think you didn't mention that.
No, Chair, I have not been mentioned adversely. Maybe the other thing is your list of references. We have just gone through your file, and we have seen that you have indicated referees. We hope the contacts in the CV is up-to-date contacts, and whether you have any objection when we contact the said referees. Do you have any objection? No objection whatsoever.
No objection. Okay, thank you very much. I think you have touched about the net worth. Maybe if you don't mind, you just break a bit because this assembly, I'm told, the movable and the immovable assets may form part of sophisticated English, but if you break it in simple terms, it will be easier for the honorable members to understand exactly. This 15 million movable and the immovable, just make it simple, simpler for us to understand.
Thank you, Chair. First, I own 6-acre piece of land that is in Bargeiwet, Cheruiyot Ward. I have a car that I recently purchased worth around 2 million. That 6-acre piece of land is worth around 3 million. And my inheritance from my father, where I've built a house, I've so far spent around 5 million in that house, but it's not complete yet. And the value of the land that it sits on is around 5 million, so it comes to around 15 million, Chair.
Thank you so much. Of course, those approximate values, I know once, if this committee finds you suitable and you are approved, of course, you are expected to declare your wealth.
Yes.
And I know, being a government officer, you understand why such a criteria has to be dealt with. maybe allow me before I open the floor, Brian. You have been nominated to Lands, Housing and Physical Planning. And as you know very well, land is a very emotive issue, not only in Cheruiyot County, but the whole of the country. Even during the campaigns of both Kenya Kwanza and Azimio, they talked, the main topic really was about land. There was the issues of settling the squatters. But I want to specifically maybe ask you about the main problem or a matter that has been with the county government of Cheruiyot for a while, and that is a matter to deal with land grabbing. Maybe, how do you plan to handle the issue of land grabbing in Cheruiyot? Should you be successful to be nominated?
Thank you, Chair. The issue of land grabbing has been menacing in this county, and the first thing that the governor did was to he sent a list of lands that needed regularization or cancellation of their papers, that is, to the newspaper. And the issue here is if we are to follow strictly by the law, which I will do because I am supposed to follow the law, the first thing I'll do is to form a technical committee within the lands department that will look into these lands that have been, these lands that are unauthorized, or these lands that we have earmarked for regularization. Once that technical committee gives a report to me on that issue of this regularization of these lands, we first send it to National Lands Commission, which is mandated by the Constitution to administer the land on our behalf. Once we send this report to the National Lands Commission, the National Lands Commission can choose to do their independent investigation. Once they have done that, or if they rely on our report, they are supposed to give us a list of those lands that are supposed to be regularized. And I would explain this issue of regularization, Chair, maybe to break it down and simplify it. We, as the County Assembly, passed an act that is called Regularization of Unauthorized Properties back in last year. And in that act seeks to regularize those lands that, in the past, I would explain to you, the President and the Land Commissioner, during that period of 1979 moving forward, they had powers to dish out lands to private individuals or churches or organizations. Those lands, even if they were public lands, they were given because they followed the law then. The law then was not clear on how to dispense public land. So if these lands fall under that category, then we shall have to regularize. But if the National Land Commission agrees with us that some of these lands were unfairly grabbed, then there would be cancellation of those titles or the allotments that they have. Cancellation, Chair, is only done by the courts. So it might be a long process, but we have to follow the law. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Brian. Before I open the floor, I think you have mentioned something that is very crucial. The thing is, should you be nominated, should you be successful, you've talked about, of course, the painful process of reclaiming the land that has been grabbed. This is a very sensitive docket. You may not need to comment on this, but should you be successful, then we need to talk to the governor to ensure that you have security 24/7, because it's not an easy thing,
yes,
as you know. So I want to open the floor, and I'll start with the Honorable Anthony Ruta. Honorable Cheruiyot, sorry. And as Cheruiyot prepares to engage you, let's summarize, precise, and brief to the point, because we still have a number of nominees
Okay, thank you, Chair. Mine, Chair, is a follow-up question on what the nominee has just said concerning the British case that you said you were among the group of people who did research. You know, that has generated a lot of heat in our county. The people are waiting for their compensation. Now that you are part of the team that did research, can you comment briefly on the findings, whether our people will be compensated, whether the case was filed, at which stage, which court, because you are part of the team that did research. Secondly, Brian, you know, in our county, various counties have encroached on our borders, especially on matters revenue. A classic example is the one at Sondu, Koguta Farm, Nyamira County, especially at Kerito area. What are your plans to resolve this issue? Because we are always, other counties are always encroaching on our county. We've never encroached on anybody's county, but they are coming from all over. If this committee finds you fit to hold this position, what are you going to do to make sure that at least our territorial boundaries are safe? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chairman. I would quickly like to answer the first part of that question, that is on the British case. Mheshimiwa Bet, as you well know, at that time, I was under Mr. Kiprono, who was the legal advisor to the governor then, and we did some research together, and fortunately, I got employed in the assembly and did not proceed with that research process because already I had moved over to this other side. And now that we were doing oversight over the other side, I could not continue with the research on the same case.
But as an interested person and coming from this county, you must have done some follow-up.
Yes.
Even though you came to the county assembly, but there was something that you began.
Yes.
On the other end. So you never follow it up?
I followed it up as a representative of the assembly. And in fact, there was a time we met with Karim Khan, who was our lead counsel in that particular case. And the last time we met in a boardroom in Nairobi, he said that he was not very sure if that case would go through. It was a 50-50 affair. And since then, and as you know, we have not had more interactions on the same. So I would request that
yeah, I think that is very, very well elaborated and clear. The point, honorable members, I want to encourage you as you engage the nominee. Let us not repeat the engagements that a member has raised. Even the similar ones with similar responses. Let us try to avoid those such nature of engagements. The Honorable Maritim, please.
Chair, there is the second part I had not answered on the issue of boundaries.
Maybe I want us to take the one for the Honorable Maritim and one from Honorable Paul Chirchir, and then you will respond all of them at once. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. Brian, I hope you are aware we have squatters in our county,
yes,
especially in Chelimo and Kipkelion.
Yes.
What steps will you undertake to put to an end this issue, which has dragged on for a long time?
Okay.
Further, are you aware of 4,000 acre Kaguta land issue in Soin Sigawet? Secondly, we have also a problem in Chepseon ward. We have land issue, Chepseon market, which has taken ages to be resolved. What plans do you have in settling this matter once for the owners of these plots to develop? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Once again, Brian, congratulations on your nomination to be the CEC lands. The people of Kapsoit Ward have sent me a message of congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you.
And they wish you well.
Thank you.
The president was in Kericho the other day, and housing is very key and dear and is in the front page of the president's manifesto. The president told us that he has an ambitious housing program where he intends to build 10,000 housing units for Kericho. We all know very well that land is a scarce resource in Kericho. We have agricultural practice right in the middle of our CBD. What will you do to enable or to make this a success? That's number one. Number two, parcels of land. Most of the parcels of land in Kericho are grabbed. What will you do to the parcels of land that are public, that are right now in private hands of individuals? Number three, there is a road that crosses Guru Nanak that links Kericho town to Nyagacho. But Guru Nanak has put up a wall blocking the road. What will you do if you succeed to be the CEC lands? Number three, in Kapsoit, there is a monument that was placed in 1963. That is right in the heart of Kapsoit. But there are encroachments around that area. Initially, the plan was that that area would have been like a recreational area where members of the public after lunch can go and rest. But all the parcels of land around that area have been grabbed. In the entire county, we have parcels of land where there were cattle dips. We have parcels of land that had the feeding trough. There was a program called Murati Shek. Sorry, I don't know whether you know that. Where the defunct county council had built water troughs in most of the areas in the entire county. But where those water troughs were located, there were parcels of land that belonged to the then defunct county council of Kipsigis. But since with the devolution in place, assets and liabilities were inherited by all the counties. What will you do should you succeed to be the CC to return all the parcels of land that have been grabbed that were used for water troughs in the entire county of Kericho? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, Brian, as you respond, please be precise and brief so that we can move forward, please.
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of the grabbed lands, let me start with Mheshimiwa Tarimbo's question because I had answered it before. One thing I want to say to the public, and this is, it should be on record, is that, yes, I agree, there is a long legal process that we shall follow so that we get back these grabbed lands. But remember, if given a chance to be the CC of Lands, Housing and Physical Planning, I will ensure that I take the best brains of advocates in this country to deal with that issue of lands, so that if you lose a case and you had grabbed land, you shall pay legal fees that you have never seen before, so that it becomes an example to the land grabbers that are out there. We shall go for costs of the suit, and as you know, Chair, these things take a lot of money. There is no other shortcut to these grab lands. The process that I had explained before is what we'll take, but I assure you, Chair, that is the process that we shall have to take. On the issue of boundaries, Chair, we acknowledge that Kisumu County and Nyamira County have encroached into our territorial space as it pertains revenue collection. We have raised the same issue with National Land Commission, and 2 weeks ago I was at National Land Commission representing the County Assembly there, and we talked about the same issue, and the National Land Commission advised us that we try and sort this issue amicably. Our neighboring county, Kisumu, through its governor, Nyong'o, are ready to parley on the same matter, and they have shown interest to come sit down and resolve the same matter because it's something that it is a no-brainer. For Nyamira, we shall also invite them to that meeting so that we are able to solve that matter. If we take radical steps, Chair, it might escalate and it might cause a dispute between the two communities. For the question by Honorable Maritim on the Chelimo, Kipkelion land and Koguta land issue, I'm very aware that Chelimo has quarters, and that is an 812-acre piece of land. We have also public land there that we were supposed to build a stadium. But this issue of Chelimo is in court, and I wish not to opine on the same. On the matter of Koguta, there was a case in court, and the 4,000 acres, the courts gave 400 acres to the other community for settlement. Unfortunately, our previous government did not follow up on that matter, and if given a chance, I shall appeal that case so that we have what is rightfully ours, because that land used to pay revenue to the then Kipsigis County Council. The issue of Kipkelion, we tried handling that issue with the committee in the assembly. The Talai community were given land in Kipkelion. I promised this appointments committee that we had handled it to a certain place. We shall, if given a chance as a CEC member for lands, housing and physical planning, I shall see to it that we get an end to that issue. On the Chepseon land issue, Chairman, I'm not privy to that case, but once I'm in there, I will take it upon me to investigate that matter. Unfortunately, I do not have the facts right now on that particular matter, sir. On the issue of housing by Mheshimiwa Paul Chirchir, housing has been a teething problem in this county, Kericho County. If you all know, we have 23 acres of land for housing in Kericho town. That is Mamangina Estate, Majengo Estate, and we have Belgut Estate. Majengo Estate, as you all know, has...
Sorry, Chairman. Please list Mamangina Estate, where is it?
Mamangina Estate is on the other side after, when you use that feeder road, just before Teachers College, you'll get to Mamangina Estate.
How many acres?
Total acreage of these lands is 23 acres. That is, you know, they are all interlinked. Belgut is down there where they are in complete structures. That is Belgut Estate. Majengo is this one that we have just after the market.
The ones that was started way back?
Way before by Housing
and
Corporation.
Incomplete.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, if you see Majengo Estate, for instance, we have houses that are there, but they are archaic houses. These people who live there pay 1,000 shillings for a one-bedroom house to the county government, and not even to the county government.
So the Majengo one is like how many acres?
I'm not sure of the acreage of each particular one, but combined, it's 23 acres. Now, if we continue using these archaic structures that we have, the county shall not generate any good revenue that we intend to generate. My thoughts and what I would do if given a chance is we need first to fence off that estate. Then we need to bring down those houses and bring up new units that would fetch the county good revenue. That is apart from the 10,000 issue of affordable housing. I would come to that, sir. And on the issue of Belgut Estate, I think we have structures that were incomplete by the Housing Corporation, but if you look at them right now, they are so dilapidated that we might need to bring them down. At least for Mamangina Estate, the houses are not that bad, but with time, we shall improve them. We shall try and renovate those houses because they are not that bad. On the issue of the 10,000 units, housing units that the President mentioned about, we are privileged as a county and we thank the President for that idea. We shall, if given a chance, sir, we shall be able to spread this to not only Kericho town, but to Litein, to Kapkatet, to Sigawet, to Londiani. I can see majority leaders smiling because at least for once you shall have housing units, affordable housing units for your people in Londiani. If given a chance, we would look for public lands where we shall settle these houses.
So, Chairman, because this is very dear to the President, and it is very, very important that this committee is made aware of. So, should you be approved, are you telling this committee that you will make the parcels of land available as soon as yesterday?
Yes, Chair, through the Chair. Yes, I will ensure, because again, you must realize that this very house should assist me in the budgetary allocations. For instance, we have a town like Kapsoi town where we come from, Mheshimiwa. We do not have big public lands that would hold such big units, right? So we might need to purchase lands for these housing, affordable housing plans. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Honorable Aragon.
Oh, sorry, Chair, I'm just about to finish.
Okay.
On the issue of road that crosses Gurnanak, we will revisit that issue, and we had tried handling it with the Deputy Speaker last Parliament, but I promise you that we shall revisit that issue and we shall follow the law until that road is opened. Kapsoit Monument and its encroachments and the Murati Sheg water traps, these are grabbed lands, and as I have explained, I will follow that due process to ensure that they are back to the public.
Thank you so much. Honorable Aragon.
Thank you, Chair. Brian, once again, congratulations for making this far. Now, I was going to ask you about the inventory of all the land meant for this county that was handed over by the defunct TA. There was a transitional authority. Now, it is shocking that in all, wherever we come from, the initial public lands, PI lands, where dispensaries are, situated, the cattle dips, Tarimbo said, we have the swampy areas. If you go to every single place where that land was, people have subdivided. Do we have an inventory of all the lands in this county? I know, fortunately, you've been working with the county, the assembly. Do you have an information of these lands? Because we've lost. Number two, I come from Cheruiyot Langat constituency, and it's true, the county government of Kisumu has encroached badly into our lands. And, the first assembly put beacons. But, still to date, this is a surprise. Whenever those people sell land, the titles they come for in Kericho. And we still accept that it is not our land, it belongs to Kisumu. Why do we have titles in Kericho for a land that belongs to Kisumu? Maybe you'll have to comment on that. And then lastly, is to try and find out from you. Now, these multinationals, I want you to tell this committee the exact amount these multinationals are paying in terms of rates. It's been so emotive the few days ago because we want to know so that if indeed they are paying us the 264 or something close to that. When you take over, should we endorse you as a committee and you're successfully sworn in? What are your plans so that we get maximum revenues out of these multinationals?
Thank you so much. And I think maybe on Honorable Aragon's question, that is if you have done your research well.
Chair, I'm requesting that I respond because they are very weighty on these three first.
Yeah, and I'm just, for purposes of this committee, if you are not so sure about then of course, there was a nominee yesterday here that he overemphasized the use of research, and especially the Google engine. So we can be Googling all these things, and I can assure you we can get the information that we require. Please summarize.
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of the inventory, I am privy to an inventory that was supposed to have been given to the county government by the Transition Authority. But luckily, we have it here in the assembly. That's just one book out of many. Maybe the others were given to the other side. We did have these books that were under the custody of the county council and the municipal council. And I've done my research on this matter, and the department says that it has an inventory of all these public lands. On the issue of the boundaries in Kisumu, when we were at National Lands Commission, NLC says it does not have the mandate on issues boundaries. And it said also that ideally IEBC is supposed to have the mandate on issues boundaries. But IEBC says and claims that their mandate ends with the election. But the question that we ask is, if I vote in Kericho, why should I be administratively liable to Kisumu? Because that is the matter that is at hand. Unfortunately, Chair, we have realized that there is a loophole in the law, and the NLC advised us that not until Parliament passes a law to cure that defect, then their hands are tied. So I would request this committee for patience. We shall write to Parliament that there is indeed a problem in the boundaries issue, and we hope that they will pass a law so that it is resolved as soon as possible. For the multinationals and the rates that they pay, I will not say with certainty, but from what I have heard, they pay us 264 shillings per acre per year. And this is outright abuse of the law, because we have our Finance Act that says we pay in the town, we are ought to pay around 5,000 shillings. Then I ask, why should the people on the other side pay 264 and the people on this other side pay 5,000? Are they children of a lesser God? No. And comically, Chair, there is this humorist on 7th October 1893. It's called Peter Dune. He introduced a fictional character to his readers, and the fictional character was called Dooley. And Dooley said, and I quote, "The role of the newspaper is to comfort the inflicted and inflict the comfortable." I think, sir, it would be my role, if given a chance to handle this ministry. I'm sorry to say, I shall comfort the afflicted, not inflicted, afflicted, and afflict the comfortable, those who are too comfortable to the extent that they do not follow the law. We shall have to focus on this issue. We shall sit on the table. And unfortunately, Chair, we are suffering from what is called Stockholm Syndrome, where we fall in love with our captors. Why? It is time that we hit the table so that these people can come to the round table and parley. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Dominic, and then Honorable Anita.
Thank you.
No, it's okay. We are coming back to you. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Congratulations, Brian, for making this far. Chair. There is a lot of issues of mushrooming town, especially where I'm coming from, the town of Kabianga Kambas. Is one of the town with a huge population after Kericho town. What are your plans if you succeed being one of the CC lands? There is another big issue of the municipal board. You will know the issue of municipal board when they are being appointed and maybe when they are being sworn. If there's, that is the only time you'll add about the municipal board. If you go to Litain town, and then part of the Kericho town, there is a lot to be done by the municipal board. What will you do as the CC?
Thank you so much, Chair. On the issue,
another issue which I want you to touch is on the issue of the 1,000 acres land. Because the President said it when you were in the Thanksgiving prayers day, and it is dear to the President because he has been saying it for several years when he's in this town. And you know, there's nowhere the town can grow. Those are the issues I want you to raise. If I have another thing to add, I'll add. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of planning of these mushrooming towns, we have a physical plan in Kericho, but we do not have a planning act that we have passed as the Assembly. I would request and suggest that this planning act is already a bill and shall be brought to this Assembly for passage. We are supposed to stick to the plans that we have. Unfortunately, that has not been the case in the past, but given a chance as the CC of Lands, Housing and Physical Planning, I shall ensure that we stick to these plans. On the issue of municipal boards, we have Kericho and municipal boards that were passed in this House 2 years ago. And unfortunately, when they came into place, they were not given their functions. But at the end of the tenure of His Excellency Professor Paul Chepkwony, he gave them the functions. But unfortunately, functions cannot come without the budgets. I'm requesting this Honorable House that in your supplementary budgets, please remember to add something for these municipal boards so that they can function properly. On the issue of the 1,000 acres that the President mentioned, we as a county have will request the multinationals to.
Allow me to interrupt. Chairman.
Yes, Honorable Paul.
Now, we are all aware that any building before it is before it commences, any member of the public who wishes or an investor would wish to put up a structure, there are always approvals by the relevant departments in the county.
Honorable Paul, is that related to the 1,000 acre?
It's related to the planning, I think.
Yes.
The planning?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a supplementary question, is it?
Yeah, because I thought he was still continuing. That's why I'm asking him, because this is an area that they have never had a substantive town planner. What will you do to make sure that this department, because this is a department that is very critical, they've never had a substantive town planner? I'm told the one who is there has been acting forever. What will you do to make this office functional so that before any structure is put up in Kericho or the entire county, approvals must be given by the county?
Thank you so much. Please.
Thank you.
Respond to that.
Through the chair.
Maybe, let me ask, do you have town administrators in most of this town? Maybe you'll add
sub-county administrators. Yeah.
No, they're like Litain and Kabianga, not the main town. Do you have town administrators?
No. No, it's. I think it's sub-county planners. And one problem that we have that I want to answer your question, Mheshimiwa Paul, is these approvals are given in 3 places. 1 at the municipal, 2 at the sub-county, and 3 at the lands department. Now, there is a problem because sometimes you go for approvals at the municipal and the approval is rejected, you run to the sub-county and it is approved. We need centralization of these approvals. And apart from centralization through the chair, we need to automate this whole process so that you don't need to be coming with physical papers for approval.
Yeah,
it's just approved online.
On the matter of the planner, please respond to that.
On the issue of?
The town planner.
I'm not aware of, I might not answer that question substantively, but given time I can find
1,000
acres.
Yeah, please.
On the issue of the 1,000 acres, Chair, we, if given a chance, what we need to do is to request the multinationals for a resurvey of the land. As you all know, this land that we are talking about is approximately 21,000 hectares. That is Kericho.
Chairman.
Yes,
sorry, I am not satisfied with the answer on who makes approvals. Chairman, you are aware that 2 years ago, a building in town collapsed. We lost lives. So we would want to know exactly who approves structures before they are erected in town. Who takes responsibility? Thank you.
Okay. Maybe you can attempt to respond to that.
Through the chair, and that is why I said, unfortunately, there are 3 places where you can do approval. So that means there is no one substantive
who can take responsibility.
I
think that is very well
at that particular time here.
No, Chairman, I think he's talked of 3 approvals. Now, does that mean, Bran, that if somebody is approved through municipal board, that person does the job, or you mean you get approval from the municipal, you get from the, is it the sub-county administrator's office? And by the idea, that should not be the case.
Sub-county planners.
Sub-county planners.
Yes.
And then the third one is?
Lands department.
Lands department.
So maybe...
Yes. So each one...
You see, maybe there was a loophole. Okay.
Order, honorable members. I think that is just a similar question by the Honorable Paul, and you have responded to that. Please, so that we move forward. Honorable Anita, please.
So, Chairman, before you leave, there was something municipal board.
Let's allow Anita first, please.
Yeah, okay, sour.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I think I have 1 or 2 issues. First, Brian, understand we have a settlement scheme just around here called Swahili Village. Is it still in place? I know it's a long-term public land that was given out to some people to settle in. I don't know if you are aware of that. Does it still fall under some of the settlement schemes that we have within the county? And just I think a little bit of what has been asked is maybe just share with us the issues we have. When I was moving around, mostly in my ward, I could find places that have the PIs, PI lands, and most of it has been encroached. Like people would tell you, we have a PI land here. It's maybe it's an acre, but if you dig deeper, they will tell you someone has planted trees, and at the moment, we actually don't know the amount of land that we have out there that we can actually use as a county. Maybe just share a little bit with us on what plans you have to make sure that all these PIs are actually brought back, so that as we plan on development, we can actually be planning, considering that we have land. Because actually, if we capitalize on those spaces, we will reduce a lot of purchase of new land to do projects in our wards. So it's a bit of my concern, because I've seen it at the moment. It's not so clear with the community, because they'll tell you so and so knows, and you know those people are already, they're getting old. So I wonder if we lose the old in 10 years or 20 years to come. Who will we actually ask? Do we have a plan on that? Can we survey? Can we actually, survey and take out that piece so that it can help us as leaders in the community to be able to plan? And maybe just on the land property valuation, I think this will help us also as we try to solve the issue of rates. Because if we don't have a valuation rate, especially on our land, we will still struggle and say this person is paying this much, and yet we really don't have a guide. Maybe tell us how soon, if given this chance, do you think we can solve this issue of valuation land rates, so that we can advise the investors and whoever is coming on board to be able to, so that we can minimize on these issues. Lastly, I don't know if this is already in place. Have we digitalized or digitization of the records in our land registry? Is that in place already, or this is something that is on course? I remember the last few days, there was an alarm on social media in Nairobi when we saw some movements of records being put in a truck, and there was a lot of outcry. We don't know where those files are going. And it just reminded me that, you know, if in this country, we still have our files, we still have our land documents on files. It's something that will take some good time to be able to solve these issues. So as Kericho County, do we have them digitalized? Are we safe so that we don't misplace the files or records when we need them on time?
Thank you so much, Honorable Majority. Please, Brian, please note so that we move forward. I'm requesting you to note down the one from Honorable Majority, and then I'll give to Honorable Anthony Ruta, and then you will attempt to respond to all of them. Because I realize the matters on supplementary questions may not allow other members not to raise what they want to raise. Majority?
Thank you very much, Chair. I only have some few questions that I would like our nominee to respond to. One is titles for the public lands. You see, in our area of representation, we have land that is being utilized in different areas. For example, dams, dispensaries, ECDs. But you see, and there are also public lands that has not been identified or used for anything, but it's public land. How are you intending to have all those lands have legal documents, that is titles? Number two, public land acquisition. Because also in our villages, you find the public sometimes want to acquire land for use in any county project. What are your plans to ensure that there is proper land acquisition so that the people can be able to enjoy the services that they require if they don't have land? For example, even opening new roads or new dispensaries, hospitals, and the rest. Again, there is a question of land use, proper land use. In where I represent, we have a huge piece of land. We called it county. It has been identified with county government for a long time. I would like to know the plans, because you see we have a huge idle land. It is a waste of resource because it's not bringing in anything to the county. Look, for example, in Londiani, we have, I'm approximating, most likely it should be around 4,000 acres. A part of it has been set aside for the construction of a referral hospital. How are you intending to ensure that it is achieved? And is the allocation enough? Another thing, change of user. I know there is a term called change of user of land. Because sometimes if land is being used for other activities, I believe there is a way it can also be converted to be used for the maybe proposed activity. What is your intention on that? And how are you going to achieve that? You talked about housing units that is being planned, because housing is a need across the country. And I also believe across the country and the county. There's a discussion of expansion of Kericho County, that is Kericho Town. Do you also think, Ma'am, that also other towns within Kericho Town, within Kericho County needs to be expanded? For example, Litein, Kapwatet, Londiani. Is there any need for expansion across the county? Or it's only within Kericho Town? I think I have all those questions. Okay, about the lease, land lease. You should also, there are pieces of land that are under lease, and there are those that are that have titles. Maybe you can maybe elaborate on that so that we can understand. Those that are under lease, once the lease expires, who will own the land? Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Honorable Anthony Ruta.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Brian, I've already congratulated you for coming this far. Thank you. One of the residents of Kipkelian, Brian, has just SMS me, particularly on the issue of survey. We have several plots in Kipkelian town that are unsurveyed. This particular resident was raising a pertinent issue. He was saying that whenever they engage surveyors from Kericho county office to survey for them plots, they demand 10,000 shillings per plot. This resident was wondering that was asking if this money, where this money is going, and yet there is no receipt issued. Brian, if this particular case is really true, what mechanisms are you going to put in place so as to cap this serious issue? Land rates should also be one of the source of revenue in our county. In fact, yesterday when we were interacting with the nominee for finance, we were able to observe that we as a county, a lot is still desired as far as revenue collection is concerned. What mechanisms are you going to put in place, Brian, to see to it that we also get revenue from land rates? We have many plots in Kipkelia. Londiani, Kedawa, name them. I was told that the owners of these plots are not paying land rates. So I'm asking, what are you going to do to see to it that we get revenue out of these plots? Another one, Brian. Most of our markets do not have sales yards. For example, in my area, we have a center by the name Parshele. Traders are selling their goods along the road. By so doing so, they endanger their lives. What plans do you have if in any case you are given this chance to be CEC lands, to make sure that these people are provided where they can sell their goods? It is very unfortunate that these people are paying rates or cess, and yet they are not operating on county land. The last one. The Department of Lands. Whenever we try to engage the personnel from the main office to come and assist us, They always tell us that they don't have mobility. If in any case you are given this chance, what plans are you going to do to make sure that these people can be able to move out of their offices to areas where their services are required? I'm told again in the department, there is shortage of staff. What are you going to do to address this pertinent issue? Bearing in mind the wage bill, so that at the end of the day, you can be able to take care of the two. Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, Brian, please.
Maybe final question, Chair.
Yes.
So that he answers all of them.
Okay.
A short one. Brian, you are aware that the County Assembly of Cheruiyot has no place to erect a new building. That is the office block and the County Assembly chambers. If this committee approves you, I know we are now in agreement that we need a new building. If this committee approves you, the CRA and the COB had okayed the building of the two structures, but because of issues that was there before, it was not built. So if this committee gives you an opportunity to serve, where are you going to give this county assembly a place to build? When? Are you going to cooperate because you don't have a place to build? And finally, or you may even answer that one.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to give to Honorable Rogonya and Honorable Paul and Honorable members. Those are the last set of engagements. Please vote.
Thank you, Chairman. Brian, I wanted to ask about the municipal boards. One, this is a board that is a creation through an act of parliament, complete with functions, complete with the tenure. In Kericho, we had the first board that was sworn in, and even before they started work, some guys were fired, disbanded, then another board was created, others were removed, then there were those who were retained. I want to find out from you, this board has a mandate. By the way, they have never been given. We have a municipal manager. There are areas in Kericho where we need water. This is the board that can be responsible if it had budget. According to you, what would you do to this board for us to get value for money? Because they are getting something, but they are not working for the county government of Kericho. Thank you.
Thank you, President Paul.
Thank you, Chairman. Actually, I rejoined on the same. This county assembly approved charters for municipal board and approved the creation of municipal. So how will you do it differently this time? Number two, title deeds in Kericho. Most of the families, you find a family, let me even use an example, my example. The land where we own, it belongs to our grandfather. What will you do to make sure that families or individuals get to own parcels of land the right way, they get title deeds? Because every time they want to get a title deed, it is very, very tedious, it's expensive. And because Kenya Kwanza, wants to operate a bottom-up economic model. So if I have a title deed as a hustler, I use the same title deed to access capital. What will you do to make sure that hustlers get title deeds? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. Please respond to that and be precise. I'm giving you 10 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Maybe I should start with what he has just raised on the issue of title deeds to hustlers. The problem we have is the bureaucracy in our government. But thanks to this government, we are going to see a digitalized system that would allow this process to be faster. What I can do, if given a chance as the CEC for Lands, Housing and Physical Planning, is to do public awareness on these processes, because I cannot really say with certainty that I can involve in person in assisting in these processes. But if we do public awareness on the new systems that are there and tell the public that these new systems have simplified and there are other costs that have been cut, then it would be really helpful to the public. On the issue of the municipal boards by Rogony and Mheshimiwa Paul, the boards were not allowed to work independently. Yes, I reckon that. And the reason for this was that you remember the Urban Areas and Cities Act was passed in 2011. Then it was later amended, and that forced the board to change it forced the governor then to change that board to align with the new amendment. That's why some of the board members had to be dropped. But that notwithstanding, they had a problem. No, it works forward, and in their wisdom, or lack of it, Chair, I don't know why they... if you look at Section 14 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act, it provides for the municipal boards. And if you look at Section 20, it now gives the functions to the municipal boards. What I'll do differently, Chair, is we need these boards to function. And this House, if you assist me by budgetary allocations to these boards, if you pass those budgets, then those boards would be independent and they would be able to provide these services to the people of Kericho and Litein. I think that is well answered, sir. I'll go back to the question from Mheshimiwa Anita on the issue of the Swahili settlement. I admit that I am not privy to that information, and given a chance, I shall provide necessary reports on that particular parcel. On the PIs, again, Honorable Chair, I would the method of returning these lands is, as I had reiterated, on the issue of how to bring back public lands. And when I get to this office, given a chance, we have to do first mapping of public lands. We have to map out these lands that have been grabbed, so that it would ease when we form the technical committee on how these lands were changed from public to private. And on that report, it is the basis of that report that I would use to try and get back these lands. On the issue of digitization, the only part that I'm aware of where they tried digitizing these documents is on approvals. Kericho County tried digitizing, but the problem was, you see, when you have a software, every year you must buy a license to it, and they are very expensive, so that did not kick off. But on the issue of digitization of the lands registry, I'm not privy, and I would request for further time to investigate on that, Mheshimiwa. Titles for public lands by Mheshimiwa Honorable Majority Leader. Titles for public lands are domiciled at the Department of Lands, right? I didn't really get the gist of your question. Maybe if you could just...
What I meant is this. We have public land, either that was donated by the public or land that is maybe, yeah, most of it was donated by the public themselves. But you see the ownership. If you want to look for documentation, the acreage and the sizes and even the documents, you will not find any title assigned to it. And you find the public sometimes demand that we need to see the title of this land set aside or maybe allocated, especially for the public. I don't know whether there is any legal document, either title or anything that secures the land as public.
Yeah, there are legal documents.
Yes, that's what I meant. That
yes.
If, for example, in my ward, we have several public land, but you cannot say there is ownership for the public, from the public themselves. That's what I meant.
Thank you. What we can do in that situation, I given a chance as the CEC of lands, we shall have to undertake the process of mapping out these public lands and looking at if those documents exist or someone somewhere tried to change these public lands to private so that we can be able to know. But for now, I am not aware if those titles are with the department or if they were changed. On the issue of public land acquisition, we have seen in the past in Cheruiyot County, the county government acquiring private land for public purposes. It is allowed, for instance, the sweet potato factory. It was a private land, and the Chebulu Conservancy was also a private land. But we have witnessed a situation where these particular lands have not changed hands to public lands to date. So it is allowed for government to buy private lands, but the process of acquisition is a bit tedious and it consumes a lot of time. So if given a chance, we shall, of course, buy public lands, especially for opening roads, for dispensaries. We shall acquire lands for housing units, but we shall follow the law. The idle land, especially in your area, Mheshimiwa, we noticed that the 100 acres is not in use. And in the governor's manifesto, it intends to come up with a mill in your area, right? And this mill, I would request, because all these have to do with the approval of the county assembly, I would request the county assembly that if we could either lease this out to private individuals for farming, because where would we get this maize for the mills? We need this to give it out to private individuals, or we do the planting as a county. We can do private-public partnership in future, and that would open up these lands for usage, of course, with the approval of the assembly. Change of user, as you said. We can change these lands from maybe referral. If maybe we get, like in your area, Mheshimiwa, we have 75 acres for the district hospital, right? Sub-county hospital. And we have 100 acres for the referral hospital. If we could fuse this so that we could use one for the hospital and one for any other purpose, then it would really serve the county well. I think I've answered your question on change of user. Housing units and expansion of other towns. We want to use Cheruiyot as a pilot project so that if it succeeds and becomes and we see that it is really successful, then we'll go for other towns for expansion. That is a thing that I will ensure would be done, Mheshimiwa. The difference between a land lease and title is that land lease is given over a period of time. This land belongs to the county, but you are given a period of time not more than 99 years. And the titles are mostly, if you have a title back at home, title deed, for example, that was registered under the Registration of Lands Act 1963, that is your personal property. And it is something that does not have a timeline. That's the difference. Anthony Ruto, Mheshimiwa, asked about survey and why surveyors are demanding for money from residents. That is an administrative issue that I'd love to look into if given a chance as a CEC member for lands, housing, and physical planning. And if we find out that this is the practice, some of those people must be disciplined, Mheshimiwa. And that is a report that I'd give to this assembly once I get there. On the issue of land rates, source of revenue is a source of revenue in the county. Most people, I reckon that most people don't pay land rates, but that is because of the laxity of previous governments. You remember at least the Kipsigis County Council used to collect land rates, but once there was that switch to the county governments, there was laxity and people stopped paying these land rates. But what we shall do is, if you allow me, through this assembly, we shall advertise in the newspaper first that these people need to pay land rates. Of course, if we backdate, we might hurt some people, but we can even say, so that they pay these land rates, we can reduce something from what they are being owed. For instance, one of the major former hotels here in Kericho have not paid the county over 30 million. And they have disputes in court, they have a lot of problems. How will you handle such issues? We need to calm down, sit and look at a procedure in which we can maybe talk to them on a payment plan. Markets do not have sales yards. We need to purchase land for these markets, especially in the area of Mheshimiwa Anthony. We shall purchase lands for those traders so that they can have somewhere that is comfortable for them and that is safe. It is quite unfair that we collect revenue as a county from these people and we have not provided land for the markets. That I shall do. I reckon that at the lands department there is a problem of vehicles, Honorable Chair, and as you know, they I think have only 3 vehicles, and this is an issue that we need to pursue. I would be requesting the budget committee, if we request for vehicles for this department, please assist. There is also a shortage of staff in that department. But Chair, I would like to propose this. Now that we have the municipal boards domiciled under lands, one of the things we shall endeavor to do is collection of revenue, especially in this town. If you look at the Finance Act, for instance, Chair, we are supposed to even charge these lorries and trucks that come and drop goods in this town. And a lorry per year is 40,000, but Kericho does not do that. I once talked to a transporter, and he was telling me that when he goes to Kakamega, Kisumu, he pays for those fees, but in Kericho there is laxity. If we are able to generate revenue for this county, then we shall have more allocation to the county, and the issue of wage bill shall not be an issue. Again, if you have realized, Kericho, do we have county roadblocks? How many times have you seen roadblocks erected around? As the CC of lands, and I agree that the municipals are domiciled under lands, we shall erect these roadblocks, especially that enter into these municipal regions, so that we can be able to generate revenue, and so that we can be able to justify when we employ more staff, that we are also collecting more revenue. The municipal boards, Chair, do not have staff that would help them do this work. We can even start with contractual staff, or even staff who will do manual jobs, because you can see the town as it looks. We need young men to help us clean this town. If that proposal comes to this assembly, I humbly request that you pass it. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Brian. There is a burning one from Honorable Paul, and that is the last one.
Or maybe I've not answered the one by Mheshimiwa Cheruiyot, but on the issue of the county assembly chambers.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
I am, as you know, Mheshimiwa, I am a family member here, and I would not wish to see this assembly suffer. I would make it my first priority to ensure that we find land for the building of the proper county assembly.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Honorable Paul.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairman. I've seen Brian talk about staff in the municipal board. Are you aware that there are about 5 or 7 casuals from Kapsoit who were employees of the former municipal board, the defunct municipal board? And as the county were inheriting staff, assets, and liabilities, they were never taken up. They have been tossed from one office to the other. The team leader is called Mama Hilda. She had even contemplated committing suicide because she has been cleaning up Kapsoit day in, day out, and they are never paid. I don't think that they are the only ones. There could be ones in Fortenan, there could be other ones in Litain or any other place. What will you do to make sure that Hilda and their group and others who are not taken up by the county, to make sure that they are taken up? The other person, Emily C. Sang, was one of the chief officers in the Department of Lands. There were issues. She went to court, and she was supposed to have been compensated. Nothing has happened to date. What will you do to make sure that her rights are not violated, including the many others whose rights have been violated? Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Please, you can.
So that he answers. It's just
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
I'll give you
Thank
30
you,
seconds.
Chairman, for giving the people of Wainamoyo a chance through me. Brian, you know you are our principal legal officer. As we vet you, you know you are still our principal legal officer. The County Government Act Section 35, Part 2A, B, and C says that the County Assembly will not approve the nominees of the county executive members if those nominees do not take into account, one, not more than 2/3 of the agenda, two, representations of the minorities, marginalized groups and communities, C, community and cultural diversity within the county. I know you've gone through the list of those who were nominated together with you for vetting this county assembly. As our principal, you know you are the head of legal in this county assembly. Before you were approved or rejected by this committee, what will you advise the committee as a principal legal advisor of the county assembly of Cheruiyot? Thank you, Chair.
Chair, protect me from the honorable member, because that can...
Order first. There is a question by Honorable Paul Chirchir on the second one by Honorable Cheruiyot, but I think that one you will leave it for the committee on appointment to decide. You know, this is a nominee from the governor, and there is no. I think some of the decisions that the governor made is beyond his comprehension. However, you've said that I'll encourage some consultation outside this meeting. Then you can enlighten the member on what the section 35 to mention. So that one, respond to the first one only.
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of casuals, I'm even shocked that that really happened, because if you look at what a casual earns, it's not much. How I wish we would have given this solution long time ago, because we are in the 12th year of devolution. So I will take up that issue, and I will ensure that we do a comprehensive report on the same. And if we are to take them, we shall try and backdate some of those things, maybe a little bit. But you know, again, in law, there is a law on casuals. But I promise to handle that issue, Mheshimiwa, given a chance as the CC of Lands.
On the second part, please.
So you're committing that should this committee approve you, Hilda, who has been a cleaner in Kapsoit, and others.
Honorable Paul.
Thank you, sir.
Honorable Paul, please, on the second one, please respond on the second one. I think already the nominee has given an indication that given an opportunity, he will do something. So at that time, remember this is an house also that will be doing the oversight. So we don't want you to overcommit yourself before, we don't want you to jump the ship. Okay. And also the honorable member, Paul, don't push too much the nominee to give. So please respond to the second part of his question.
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of Emily C. Sang, I am aware of the matter, and if rightly as you put, the courts have decided that we are supposed to compensate her, my hands are tied, so I have to follow the law. She shall be compensated as per the law.
Thank you so much, Brian. Final word to the nominee, and not engagement, but final word. So 30 seconds, Honorable Dominic.
Brian, I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Honorable Anita.
Brian, just want to wish you all the best as and pray that if all goes well, remember to deal with solid waste disposal in this county.
Honorable Majority. Thank you, Honorable Anita.
Brian, thank you very much. I wish you all the best. And I know that if you are given a chance, you will be able to look at the policies and the issues touching on land, because you see land is very emotive, especially in our region. Thank you.
Chairman, thank you for the time. Brian, thanks for the engagement we've had. I wish you well. Should you succeed, do as you've said. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Paul.
Thank you very much, Chairman. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors, Brian Langat.
Honorable Maritim.
Thank you, Chair. Brian, success.
Honorable Cheruiyot, please.
Brian, I wish you success on your tour of duty at the executive. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Brian. Maybe before we close, if you have any word to this committee, I'll give you a minute.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
First of all, I would like to thank the Almighty God for this chance. Thank the Governor for this chance that he has given me. And thank the Appointments Committee for this engagement. Thank the County Assembly for, I have worked here. And this is where I got my experience. Thanks to this great family. And given a chance to go to the other side, I shall miss you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brian. From my end, I want to wish you the very best. Today you are our special guest. I'll request Sergeant Atam to escort you and serve you with tea at our common room. Sergeant Atam, ensure that the nominee is comfortable, served with tea, if possible, maybe a buttered bread. Thank you so much, Brian, and God bless you. Honorable members, we break for 5 minutes, and then Sergeant Atam, the Secretariat, please note only 5 minutes. 5 minutes. The next nominee should be here in the next 5 minutes. Okay.